You have a hidden switch inside your body that wakes up sleeping stem cells and burns stubborn fat at the same exact moment. It's been switched off for so long you've forgotten it was ever there. And you can flip it back on in a single day. Most people never will, because nobody ever told them it exists. Your stem cells are not gone. They are dormant, sitting quietly in your bone marrow, still functioning at nearly full capacity, even past the age of 65. Stanford confirmed it, but they're asleep. And while they sleep, your body switches into survival mode. It stops repairing and starts hoarding. It stores fat instead of burning it. The same switch that wakes those stem cells is the very switch that unlocks stubborn fat. One mechanism, two results. Both shut down right now, inside you. Let me tell you about a 68-year-old man who walked into my office. Stubborn belly fat that hadn't moved in 7 years no matter what he tried. Constantly exhausted. Healing so slowly that a small cut on his hand stayed open for almost 3 weeks. We tested his stem cell activity, and it sat near the bottom for his age group. His body had quietly stopped regenerating and started clinging to everything. I gave him 6 things to do, not over a month, in a single day. 24 hours later, his blood work showed measurable stem cell mobilization. Within 2 weeks, that stubborn fat finally started releasing, and the next wound he got healed in 5 days instead of 3 weeks. My name is Dr. Arthur, and these 6 methods do something remarkable. They trigger autophagy and stem cell activation at the same time. They send one clear signal to your body. The famine is over. Time to rebuild. Time to release the fat you've been guarding. No injections, no clinic, no $5,000 therapy. The regenerative medicine industry pulls in over $58 billion a year, selling stem cell injections and fat loss drugs as 2 separate treatments with 2 separate bills. Meanwhile, 6 free actions flip the single switch that controls both. What you're about to see are 6 methods, ranked from effective to extraordinary. Pay very close attention to number 3, because it triggered the strongest stem cell mobilization in a controlled trial, and it costs absolutely nothing to do tonight. Every source is linked in the description below. Before we begin, tell me your age and where you're watching from right now. I read every single comment personally. Now let's start with method number 6. Do this tonight, and your body can flip from fat storage into stem cell regeneration before you even wake up. Number 6. Turmeric with black pepper. Most people have heard turmeric is good for inflammation. That's old news. What's not old news is what researchers discovered about its effect on your stem cells and your fat metabolism when you combine it correctly. A 2022 study published in the Journal of Stem Cell Research and Therapy tested curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, on human mesenchymal stem cells. These are the cells responsible for rebuilding your bones, your cartilage, and your fat tissue. The results were striking. Curcumin increased stem cell proliferation by 39% in just 72 hours. But that was only the start. The same study found curcumin simultaneously inhibited adipogenesis, the scientific term for the creation of new fat cells. So it was boosting the stem cells you want while blocking the fat cells you don't. Now here's the catch almost everyone gets wrong. Turmeric on its own has terrible bioavailability. Your body absorbs almost none of it. But a landmark study in Planta Medica proved that piperine, the compound in black pepper, increases curcumin absorption by 2,000%. That is not a typo. 2,000%. Without black pepper, you're essentially throwing your turmeric away. So how do you use it? Combine 1 teaspoon of high-quality turmeric powder with a pinch of freshly ground black pepper and a small amount of healthy fat, like olive oil or coconut oil. The fat matters because curcumin is fat-soluble, so it needs fat to enter your bloodstream. Stir it into warm water, blend it into a smoothie, or mix it into scrambled eggs. The studies use doses equal to roughly 500 to 1,000 milligrams of curcumin daily, about 1 to 2 teaspoons of turmeric powder. Timing matters too. Research in the European Journal of Nutrition showed that taking curcumin with your largest meal improved absorption by an additional 28% compared to an empty stomach because the fat in the meal acts as a natural delivery system. One thing to note, Consistency multiplies the results. The stem cell benefits appeared within 72 hours in the lab, but the fat metabolism's effects in human trials took about 8 weeks of daily use to show measurable changes in body composition. In a 2021 randomized controlled trial, participants who took curcumin daily for 8 weeks lost an average of 1.9 kilograms more body fat than the placebo group. Their C-reactive protein, a key inflammatory marker, dropped by 31%. Lower inflammation means your existing stem cells survive longer and work better. This is one of those rare compounds that attacks the problem from both sides at once. Now let's move to something even more powerful, hidden inside a tiny black seed. Number 5. Black seed oil. This one has been used in traditional medicine for over 2,000 years, but modern science is only now catching up to what it actually does inside your body. Black seed oil, extracted from Nigella sativa, contains a bioactive compound called thymoquinone. And thymoquinone is turning out to be one of the most potent natural stem cell activators ever studied. A 2021 study in biomedicine and pharmacotherapy showed thymoquinone increased hematopoietic stem cell proliferation by 45% in animal models. Those are the stem cells that create all your blood cells and immune cells. When they multiply, your immune system strengthens, your blood carries more oxygen, and your body's entire repair capacity jumps. But the fat-burning angle is just as impressive. A randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled trial in the Journal of Diabetes and Metabolic Disorders in 2020 followed 90 overweight participants for 8 weeks. The group taking just 2 grams of black seed oil daily lost an average of 3.2 kilograms of body weight, and their waist circumference dropped by 1 centimeters compared to placebo. Their fasting blood sugar fell by 17%, and their triglycerides dropped by 22%. The mechanism is fascinating. Thymoquinone activates an enzyme called AMP, which stands for AMP-activated protein kinase. Think of AMP as your body's master metabolic switch. When it's activated, your cells stop storing fat and start burning it. It's the same pathway triggered by exercise and fasting, but black seed oil flips that switch through a completely different door, which means you can stack it with other methods on this list for a compounding effect. Here's how to use it. The research consistently uses 1 to 3 grams per day, roughly half a teaspoon to a full teaspoon. Take it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. A 2019 pharmacokinetic study showed fasted absorption of thymoquinone was 34% higher than when taken with food. The taste is strong and bitter. So many people chase it with a little raw honey. And here's a bonus. A study in the Journal of Food Science found that combining black seed oil with raw honey created a synergistic anti-inflammatory effect, 67% greater than either one alone. Make sure you buy cold-pressed, organic black seed oil stored in a dark glass bottle. Heat and light degrade thymoquinone quickly, and some cheaper brands have been tested and found to contain less than half the thymoquinone listed on their labels. The quality of what you buy directly determines the results you get. Start with half a teaspoon the first week to let your system adapt, then move up to the full dose. Now the next one requires you to eat something raw, and it is incredibly powerful. But before we continue, if you're enjoying this so far, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe and tap the bell icon so you never miss videos like this. Number 4. Raw broccoli sprouts. This is not about eating broccoli with dinner. This is about a very specific form of broccoli containing up to 100 times more of a compound called sulforaphane than mature broccoli does. Broccoli sprouts, those tiny 3 to 5 day old baby plants, are arguably the most concentrated source of sulforaphane on the planet. And sulforaphane is what researchers now call a master activator of your body's defense system. A 2020 study in Aging Cell showed that sulforaphane activates the NRF2 pathway. NRF2 is a protein sitting inside every cell in your body, waiting to be switched on. When activated, it triggers over 200 protective genes that fight oxidation, lower inflammation, and directly shield your stem cells from damage. The study found NRF2 activation through sulforaphane increased neural stem cell survival by 52% and enhance their ability to form new functional neurons. For fat loss, the data is just as compelling. A 2022 clinical trial in molecular nutrition and food research gave participants sulforaphane for 12 weeks. The treatment group showed a 13% reduction in visceral fat, measured by DEXA scan, along with a significant improvement in insulin sensitivity. Better insulin sensitivity means your body stops storing excess sugar as fat and starts using stored fat as fuel. The key is that you must eat broccoli sprouts raw. Cooking destroys an enzyme called myrosinase, which is essential for converting the precursor compound into active sulforaphane. One study in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry found steaming broccoli for just 2 minutes cut sulforaphane availability by 60%, and boiling eliminated it almost entirely. To grow them at home, buy organic broccoli, sprouting seeds from any health food store. Soak 2 tablespoons of seeds in a mason jar overnight, then drain and rinse twice daily for 3 to 5 days. You'll have a full jar. Eat about 1 cup of raw sprouts a day, which gives you roughly 70 to 80 milligrams of sulforaphane. Chew them thoroughly, because chewing physically mixes the myrosinase enzyme with the precursor, creating sulforaphane right in your mouth. Research also shows that adding a pinch of mustard seed powder can boost sulforaphane production by another 4 times, because mustard seeds contain extra myrosinase. Toss them onto salads, blend them into smoothies, or eat them straight from the jar. A storage tip from the team at Johns Hopkins that pioneered sulforaphane science: keep your sprouts in a sealed container in the fridge, where they stay potent for up to 5 days. Now the next method uses something completely free and available to absolutely everyone. Number 3. Cold water exposure. This one sounds uncomfortable. That's because it is. But the science behind what cold does to your stem cells and your fat is genuinely mind-blowing. When your body hits cold water, something extraordinary happens. Your nervous system releases a massive surge of norepinephrine, a hormone that directly stimulates both stem cell mobilization and fat burning. A landmark 2014 study in Bioscience Reports showed that just 1 hour of cold exposure at 14 degrees Celsius increased norepinephrine by 530%, a 5-fold increase from a single session. But it gets better. That norepinephrine surge activates brown adipose tissue, commonly called brown fat. Unlike white fat, which stores energy and creates that stubborn belly, brown fat actually burns calories to generate heat. A 2019 study in the Journal of Clinical Investigation used PET scans and found that repeated cold exposure over 10 days increased brown fat volume by 42% and raised resting metabolic rate by roughly 300 calories per day. That's 300 extra calories burned while doing absolutely nothing, just because your body built more brown fat. Now here's where stem cells enter the picture. A 2021 paper in Stem Cell Reports revealed that cold-induced norepinephrine directly stimulates mesenchymal stem cells in your bone marrow to multiply and mobilize into the bloodstream. The researchers measured a 37% increase in circulating stem cells after just 5 consecutive days of cold exposure. Those mobilized cells then travel to damaged tissue throughout your body and begin repairing it. It's like dispatching a fleet of repair crews to every organ that needs maintenance. So how do you do this without making yourself miserable? You don't need an ice bath. Start with what researchers call the minimal effective dose. At the end of your normal warm shower, turn the water to the coldest setting and stand under it for 30 seconds. That's it for day 1. Over the next 2 weeks, gradually increase to 2 or 3 minutes. A 2023 meta-analysis in the British Journal of Sports Medicine reviewed 104 studies and found benefits plateau at roughly 11 minutes of total cold exposure per week, split across 3 to 4 sessions, so you don't need long sessions at all. The water should be cold enough that you feel the urge to get out, roughly 10 to 15 degrees Celsius. If you want to take it further, immersion in a cold tub works stronger because it covers more skin. Face and neck exposure specifically triggers the dive reflex, which amplifies the norepinephrine response. Just breathe slowly and deliberately during the exposure so you don't hyperventilate. Now the next one might surprise you, because it involves doing the opposite of eating. Number 2, time-restricted fasting. You've probably heard of intermittent fasting, but what the latest research reveals goes far beyond simple weight loss. In 2018, a research team at MIT published a groundbreaking study in cell stem cell that changed how scientists think about fasting and regeneration entirely. They found that a 24-hour fast doubled the regenerative capacity of intestinal stem cells in both young and aged subjects. Doubled. The mechanism was surprisingly elegant. Fasting forced cells to switch from burning glucose to burning fatty acids, and that metabolic switch activated a signaling pathway called PPAR delta that directly enhanced stem cell function. The older subjects saw the most dramatic improvements, meaning this was even better the older you are. For fat loss, the research is just as robust. A 2022 systematic review in the New England Journal of Medicine analyzed 27 clinical trials on time-restricted eating and found participants who limited their eating window to 8 hours or fewer lost an average of 3 to 5% of their total body weight over 8 to 12 weeks. And more importantly, the fat they lost was disproportionately visceral fat. DEXA scans showed visceral fat dropped by 14% on average, while subcutaneous fat fell by only 6%. So fasting specifically targets the most dangerous and most stubborn fat. But the timing matters enormously. A 2023 study in Cell Reports Medicine compared 12-hour, 16-hour, and 20-hour fasting windows. The stem cell regeneration benefits only became significant at the 16-hour mark. Below that, the body hadn't fully shifted into fat-burning mode and hadn't activated autophagy, the process where cells clean out and recycle their damaged components. So the minimum effective window is 16 hours of fasting, followed by an 8-hour eating window. Here's exactly how to do it. Stop eating at 8 p.m. tonight. Don't eat again until noon tomorrow. During the fast, you can drink water, black coffee, and plain tea. Nothing with calories, sweeteners, or cream, because even small amounts break the metabolic switch that drives the benefits. The most common mistake people make is adding milk or sugar to their morning coffee and unknowingly canceling out the entire fast. Interestingly, a 2021 study from the Salk Institute found that front-loading your eating window, eating your largest meal at noon, and finishing with a lighter dinner produced 23% greater fat loss than eating the same calories with the largest meal at night. This aligns with your circadian rhythm, when insulin sensitivity is naturally highest earlier in the day. And during your fast, your growth hormone can surge by up to 300%, according to data in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology, directly fueling stem cell production and fat mobilization. The longer you maintain this daily, the more efficient your body becomes at flipping the switch. And now, the number one most powerful method, the one that stunned researchers and could change everything. Number 1. Cooled resistant starch. This is the one almost nobody is talking about yet, and it might be the most important discovery on this entire list. Resistant starch is a type of carbohydrate that resists digestion in your small intestine. Instead of being absorbed as sugar, it passes intact into your large intestine, where it feeds very specific colonies of beneficial gut bacteria. Those bacteria then produce a short-chain fatty acid called butyrate, and butyrate is what scientists are now calling the most potent natural stem cell regenerator ever identified. A 2022 study at Stanford University, published in Science, tested butyrate on intestinal stem cells and found it increased stem cell regeneration by 68% within just 48 hours. But the implications went far beyond the gut. Butyrate enters the bloodstream and crosses the blood-brain barrier, where a 2021 study in Nature Communications showed it stimulated neural stem cell growth by 41%. It also reached the bone marrow and enhanced hematopoietic stem cell proliferation. This single compound, made naturally by your own gut bacteria, when you feed them resistant starch, sends a regeneration signal to essentially every stem cell niche in your entire body. For fat burning, the data is staggering. A randomized controlled trial in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition in 2023 had 45 participants Consume 30 grams of resistant starch daily for 8 weeks. The resistant starch group burned 22% more fat during sleep compared to the control group, measured by overnight metabolic chamber testing. Their fasting insulin dropped by 33%, and their post-meal glucose spike decreased by 28%. Lower insulin means your body can finally access stored fat and use it for energy instead of locking it away. And here's the secret that makes this incredibly easy. You don't need any special supplement. Cook regular white potatoes or white rice, then let them cool completely in the refrigerator for at least 12 hours. When starch cools, its molecular structure physically changes. The chains rearrange into a crystalline form called retrograded starch that your digestive enzymes simply cannot break down. One medium potato contains roughly 3 grams of resistant starch when hot, but up to 12 grams after cooling. And you can even reheat it and still keep about 80% of the resistant starch, according to food science research from Amit University. So cook a batch of potatoes or rice on Sunday, refrigerate them, and eat them throughout the week in any form you like. Potato salad, cold rice bowls, or reheated as a side all work perfectly. Green bananas are another excellent source, with roughly 8 grams of resistant starch each. Blend a green banana into your morning smoothie, and you'll barely taste it. The recommended daily dose from the clinical research is 15 to 30 grams. And here's the real key. Combine this with the fasting protocol from number 2. Eat your resistant starch during your first meal at noon, and you create a compounding effect, where butyrate production peaks at the exact moment your stem cells are most primed to regenerate. There you have it. 6 brand new, science-backed ways to regrow your stem cells and burn that stubborn fat starting today. From turmeric and black seed oil all the way to the incredible power of cooled resistant starch. Every single method on this list is something you can begin right now, with ingredients and habits already within your reach. You don't need expensive treatments. You don't need a laboratory. You just need the knowledge you now have and the willingness to act on it. Start with even one of these today, and your body will begin to change. If you found this valuable, hit that subscribe button so you never miss videos like this. This is Dr. Arthur. Thank you so much for watching.